Good morning and welcome to Wake Up to Broker Up with Mark, episode number 20 for 2026. Sometimes in real estate, your back's up against the wall. Sometimes that's when you either have no offers or you have offers and can't get them accepted, or you're working with a buyer and trying to get an offer out and you just can't get it done. So obviously today's conversation I'm going to offer you is, about offers. And the reason it comes up is because we had a couple of interesting offer situations this week that warrant a conversation. And here's the first one. So one of our Atlanta community's real estate professionals has a buyer they're working with and wanted to make an offer on a particular property, and the listing agent would tell the buyer that it has to be put into the portal because it was an institutional seller, and the buyer did not want their information exposed, i.e. their email address and or their phone number and or their address. And so our buyer's agent was struggling with how to get that uploaded into the portal, and the listing agent was really no help, said that if you can't get it up into the portal, the seller's not going to consider it. Wrong answer from the listing side. All offers need to be presented as timely as possible. All offers. It doesn't say, hey, by the way, if you can't get it up into the seller's portal, no need to present it. Greg, doesn't work that way. It's the same for everyone. And it doesn't matter what the instructions the listing agent was given from the seller. It has to do with Georgia Real Estate Commission rules and regulations and the right thing to do. And so the buyer's agent couldn't get the listing agent to do anything different other than to recite the same thing over and over. It's at night, it's after hours. But our intrepid Atlanta Communities real estate professional used an email address they had and used a phone number and got it done, in spite of the listing agent's insistence that it couldn't be done. And let me tell you, think outside the box when it comes to offers and presenting offers, because the listing agent could have easily said, you know what, just go ahead and have the buyer sign it, send it over to me, and I'll print it out and upload it into the portal. Yep, go to extraordinary lengths to get offers received and, more importantly, presented to seller. And if you're working with a buyer, don't let anything derail you from getting the buyer's offer to the seller, no matter what. And again, I don't want to fault the listing agent, because the listing agent was just following the instructions the listing agent was given by their team leader or their broker, or more than likely the seller or whoever they interact with on the seller side. So ignorance in this case is not bliss, nor was it helpful. And the other thing we need to talk about offers is we had a listing agent receive several offers that were verbal on a property. What do you do if you get a verbal offer? How do you make it work? You know what you do? You write down the phone number of the person making the offer, the person's name, you write down the terms of the verbal offer, and then you put it in writing, either preferably by email, but it could be by text, and you send it over to the seller. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to have a record of sending over the verbal offer. Now, lots of contention about verbal offers and whether or not they work here in Georgia. Those are two different things. Georgia Real Estate Commission says that if you get an offer, any offer, you present it, including verbal offers. And again, the way to do that is to put the verbal offer you receive in writing and then send it over to the other side. And let's say that you do that and sends it over to the seller. If you do that, I think it's also wise for, if the seller wants to do a verbal counter or anything, go ahead and get that in writing. In other words, don't stoop to the level of the person you're dealing with. Do what you need to do to make sure you're in compliance with Georgia Real Estate Commission rules and regulations and Georgia license law, as well as common sense. Sellers want to sell the property. Sometimes buyers only want to make verbal offers because they can't be bothered. offers. Think about it. If you need help with offers, reach out to your brokers. I've got some strategies that will probably not put hair on your head. I've used some of them myself. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.